welcome back to MD Model Works. Now, I've been doing some dry fitting and just checking and going ahead as you do. Something that I always had put into me when I first started this off was, or when I first started building again, after building when I was a child, was dry fit, dry fit, dry fit. This is one of the first times this has ever really paid off. Now, the instructions said to put the firewall from this one onto the other part and then fit it. Now, when I went to fit it, it was completely wrong. These are sided, so I can't show you because I've actually started to build the other one, but I'm going to show you how I built this one. Now, I followed the instructions, and when I do a video and I'm going to be gluing a lot of stuff over different sections, I will put them in the piles that are completed, ready for the build as such, so that they are individuals going by the instructions, so each part is put in the right place. So I know it wasn't me. I can't check because obviously they're off the sprue, so I can't be sure. So when you do build this, or if you do build this, make sure the firewall is correct. You're probably better to put all the wings together, put your little pieces in. Oh, that blew that one off, didn't it? Put your pieces in, and then get yourself together. Just check everything. I mean, this is the first time in this kit, and I'm loving this kit, that I've had a problem. Okay, right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put the firewall, the wheel well, the engine in place, get everything up and running. One of the engines is going to be shown, the other one isn't. So this isn't as detailed as the other one. I could show you here. It's being glued on. I've detailed her up a bit more than I normally would. Ready to be shown. That will be on display. And also, it's these pieces have to fit together. Wherever it is, one of these pieces have to go on there, something like so. I'm not sure which way it is at the moment. We'll show you in a minute. But if you don't do it the way I'm now going to do it, you're going to have issues with lining up. So anyway, the first thing to do is to get our motor into our unit. Now, this is pretty simple. Just give yourself a few seconds to do it. Don't rush it, and you'll be absolutely fine. Everything lines up perfectly eventually. He says. That goes in there. If you just take your time, Mark, come on. I know these fit because they've all been dry fitted before. Not a lot of light on this, so I wonder if I move that across a bit more. Here we go. I could actually, this is the middle of the day. That's in the way. There we go. Alright, let's try and do that. It's just trying to see where everything lines up perfectly. And to get a set, just click into place. Oh, that fell out again. Here we go. Now, that's nearly there. There you go. So it's as simple as that. So the engine is now connected to the firewall. Right, so we just get ourselves a little bit of glue. Just touch. In all the areas we need. Do that up there. Just drop it in. So the glue will now run in and do the job. A little bit more on that. hold for a couple of seconds, and she's fine. Okay, so that's that part in. So the engine, we're all now connected to the firewall and looking quite nice. Okay, right, now is to connect the firewall with the engine in place. Straight in, click in, everything's correct, everything looks good. We can get our standard Tamiya glue. Just allow it to run round. Like so. On the top of the notches, just to make sure she holds, although we know with our glue that she will, because it's welded glue, and believe me, to get it apart when I had to change the firewall was a bit of a pain, but hey ho. Anyway, she's on, and there you go. You can see we've got our wheel well ready to go. Now I did check earlier, don't know if this is the right side or not. Yeah, it is. This will go in after, so it's not an issue. We can carry on and do what we need to do afterwards. So what we're going to do now, because this is going to be the main shell, we're going to start putting our other parts in. We can just tuck these in, and a little click, which is all you need, and she's in. You can see just there, like so, there are no problems. She will click in nicely. Obviously you want to line that up perfectly. So the first thing we do, is just to hold that there and get our extra thin. Just put it into place so that we're happy where she is. This is the first bit, obviously. The other side, exactly the same. Slide it in, turn around. It's a little bit tighter this side. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. A little bit fiddly, but because of the way the kit's put together, I ain't going to worry about that. I mean, the engine itself, you could put this bit in first and then wiggle the engine in and you'd be fine. I had this in a minute ago. Should have left it in when I was dry fitting it. But, hey ho, oh there you go. Just click straight in. When it goes in, it just goes in and it's lovely. Right, so just check to make sure we ain't pushed this side out anywhere we don't want it to go. And it is looking nice. This side's the same. Just want to get in there and push that out to our edges, just so that it fits there lovely. Now you will also notice there is a join for that piece to go onto the engine. But what I'm going to do first is again just touch and flow the glue around. And allow it to settle in. Okay, right, that one's in. Now, we have sections here which will glue to the engine. Oop, I just touched something? No. So there are holes for that just to click in, just like so. So again, just a touch, that's all it needs, just a touch. It's already clicked on the other side. that can just go on. Okay. Right. Now, getting the wings to line up could be a bit of a pain. So I'm just gonna, you just got to tease this a little bit to get it correct, or as correct as you're going to get it. So then we can just do a test fit with our top wing. I please hope this is better than the other side. The other side was a little bit awkward, but that is fine, although we do still need to bring that out just that little bit, that panel, just like so. Okay, so that's looking good, everything's looking great. It's amazing, you just check and check and check all the time. Dry fitting, the main thing we need to do for everything. Okay, so all we do now is get our extra thin and run it up that joint like so. We get the modeller's tool, the main tool, is a peg. Now, years ago we used to have wooden pegs. These times we have these pegs which have little plastic pads on, and they grip so much better than the old wooden ones. So for a couple of quid out of Poundland, or pound out of Poundland, or if you've got a little shop like I have in Beccles which do these for 20 for a quid, 2 quid, whatever, they are brilliant. And just put them on, put one on just to hold it. That's now in place, no issues. This is sitting down quite nicely. And everything's looking sweet. And that just pulls down, like clips in, like so. And again, now the one thing I did find, the wings were just a little bit warped. So I'm just gonna, the way I've got to do it, up there, is a little piece at a time, and clip those wings in. And another peg. I thought something fell off it for a minute, but hey ho. Now we've got those two really lined up, we can go to town. Now the reason you do this is so that the glue runs up the track, like so. If you do get a little extra glue like I've got there, ignore it, just let it be, don't worry about it. What that'll do, I'm going to get some more pegs. It will run into the joint and seal that joint up, ready for us to sand down and get a nice shape. And again, straight down the edges, like so. So they're nice and flat, just like that. It seems like the wind's getting up. And then we'll just peg up along. There was that glue. The worst thing you can do is put a peg on glue. Right, so that basically is getting somewhere now. There seems to be a bit of a, although I think that bit does fit like that. So to hold that nice and tight for a few seconds, and that will hold into place. And then on the back we have a very thin area, so we'll just put some glue inside there just to start her off. And I missed a few more pegs, excuse me. close it up. All we'll do again is draw, just touching it so it draws up nicely, like so. Check to make sure where you're going to put the peg, just to make sure there's no glue in the way. And on the edge, it does get a little awkward when you've got so many pegs on, but what I want to do, just line that up just that little bit more, that's it. Really doesn't want to glue into place nicely, but it will. There we go. Okay, so I'll get the other end. Try to hold it down that way. The glue's the idea of this. I know you can't see a lot with the camera. The idea of the glue now is that it won't run onto the wing, although I did do it a couple of times. And we just glue, peg it up. Right, I'll give that a few minutes just to dry so that I can't do no damage with my fingers, and then we'll come back and we'll sort the engine part out. Right, so we're back. As you can see, about half an hour. Everything is glued and is nice and tidy. So we'll take all the pegs off, put them away, find out where we glued. That's dry now, so we'll just take off where I made a slight muddle. Just clean that down. As I said, I don't show just how good I am, or I'm not that good, but I can also clean up my own mess. Lovely. Okay, so no other issues. Brilliant. We'll just tidy up the seams that run along so we can see if we need any filling. And all we're doing with a very light sponge, Mr. Flory's of course, just going along and just seeing if we've got any gaps, nasty bits as we need to sort out. That all looks pucker to me. Excuse me. Right, turn her over. Just do this edge. Still a little bit damp, so peeling that off slightly, but we're alright. That's a bit of a heavy duty you want to do that with, but there we go. That's the one I want. Nice sponge. So it goes round. If you use a sponge, it tends to go round the corner as you're cleaning it up. Right, that's nice. Now, just a quick test. Where's our fuselage? We're going to have a look. Now, that's the first time I put it on there. She's going to fit a treat, so we lined her up perfectly. Happy with that. Okay, now this is going to be a covered in engine. So, again, I haven't tested anything. So you're seeing what I'm seeing for the first time. That fits a treat. And the underneath piece. Now, in the instructions it tells you to glue these together before you put this on. Now, I disagree with that because things don't fit. To get this lined up perfectly the first time round off the engine is not going to be, or is not going to work as well as we'd like. So hang on, get that clipped over and clipped on. This will go down nicely, that'll clip in. So still don't look quite right. We will just try the other one, see if make sure. Yes. Come on, Mark, get it sorted. Surprising how much you have to concentrate even when you're videoing. That's a very thin piece here that you have to be so careful with. That will clip in. These two bits will come down and fit in there nicely. Okay, right, so we just need to that's what you've got to be so careful of, these little tags. I have broken one off the other side and that will need to be filled, but that won't be an issue. So just clip that in like that side, and then the same the other, and that's a much better fit. So it was the right one this side. So we just, this kit just doesn't cease to amaze me. The quality of the moulding, the fit is just beyond anything you can imagine. Anyway, the top piece sits on like so, and obviously you just, keep using that word, you just sit everything in so that she sits on. We can line her up, and then our engine cover will go on when I've got the right one. There you go, just like so. I mean, that's how easy it is. Obviously it's got to be glued in place and made to look a little bit better and a little bit happier, but she'll be good. Okay, so with the dry fitting done and we're happy, we'll glue this side in first. Now we're going to use some of Mr. Tamiya's quick setting to make this go a little bit quicker. I might have to get another jar out. Just one thing that I noticed, I'm a bit lax sometimes, so I forgot to put the lid on. This glue evaporates at an alarming rate. So we'll just push that across and settle her in. Just hold that for a few seconds so that she's in nice and tight. And we can put our exhaust stacks in afterwards. Yeah, I tested that as well. Okay. Right, so that's nearly there. Let's give that a little bit more glue on the front end here. And just hold that for a few seconds. Let that dry in. Just that grips. Lovely. Simple as that. And then the other side. A little bit of glue in place. Just want to tuck her in just that little bit more. These do clip just into place. Push that in, and there you go. That's one part. Quite happy with it. Our top piece literally just sits there. Very nicely made piece. just run a little bit of glue across the back and the sides just to get it starting to get in. And lining it up so that we're happy. The brushes in the quick drying don't seem to be quite as good as they are in the standard extra thin, the usual stuff that we would use. So we've now got it to hold, got the shakes some reason, and we'll just hold her in place like so. Let that set, so that's set nicely. We've got a few little places to fill, but that's not an issue. Let's see if we can move that out a little bit. Yeah, we can. That's not a problem. So we'll let that dry first, and then we can glue that to line it up. This is a lot of fiddle farting around, obviously, but worth it in the long run. And this one will just sit on lovely in a moment. Like so. That's the wrong side, but hopefully this is the right one. Yeah. And they will glue up to make the nacelles. And this will help everything come together then. And it's looking wicked. Alright, okay. So I'm going to do, I'll let those bits dry. Come back in another few minutes. We'll get the front nacelle on and we'll go from there.